perverts and weirdos to create deep nudes. So this is like sexually explicit imagery of somebody and then distribute it without their consent.
Gang, what's up? Aaron here, Canadian Looney. Get your Canadian federal politics right here. Smash the like, hit subscribe. This video doesn't really need an explanation. Let's jump right into it.
So yesterday, The Telegraph, which is a UK news outlet, reported the following headline. It said, Starmer rallies international support to take on Musk. And I'm going to read two paragraphs out of the article. It said, Downing Street, that's the UK government's sort of seat of power, has held talks with like-minded governments about a coordinated response to the controversy, I'll get into that in a second, which threatens to erupt into a diplomatic row with the White House. And here's the key paragraph that everybody was like, oh my God, are you serious? Liz Kendall, the UK's technology secretary, has said she will support the body. She's referring to Ofcom, the UK's censorship bureaucracy, if it recommends a full block on British users accessing the social media site X. So there's been a lot of reports about the Canadian federal Liberals meeting with the UK about a potential block on X. And if you're joining now, again, please click subscribe on the link that's in the comments. I'm going to be writing a lot about this in coming days. It allows me to directly communicate with you in case they do something like this. Okay, so what is this controversy about? Well, okay, I'm going to back up. You guys have watched me talk for over 2 years about my concerns that artificial intelligence platforms allow perverts and weirdos to create deep nudes. So this is like sexually explicit imagery of somebody and then distribute it without their consent. So this is already illegal in Canadian law if you do this with like a camera, right? So this was a law that was put in place under the former Conservative government under Stephen Harper in response to some really horrendous, tragic cases like Rehtaeh Parsons, young women who had pictures, sexually explicit pictures taken of them and then distributed without their consent. Now, I've had a law in Parliament, in front of Parliament for 2 years to just update those laws to say that if somebody uses artificial intelligence to create a deep nude, if they were taking it if they were taking it as a camera, that the same law should apply. A very simple, a very tight law. And I've been arguing with the Liberal government to do this for 2 years. But what did they do instead? Every single time the Liberals are confronted with an issue like this, they try to make, instead of addressing it with the simplest, tightest possible solution, they try to make you think that you have to give up your right to free speech and to information in order to be safe. It's a false dichotomy because far left governments like Canada's Liberal government, the UK government, and frankly the Australians as well, they have been putting in place censorship bureaucracies and censorship measures as opposed to actually keeping people safe online or even in the streets. So if you look at what's been happening in the UK has had, there's been, I don't know, thousands of stories of people being arrested under the Liberals' the UK's draconian censorship laws. They've been arrested for essentially what it sounds like are mean tweets, right? In Canada, the federal Liberals have twice over the last several years tried to put in place draconian bills that would mirror, and actually even in some cases go further than what the UK has put in place, including a $200 million censorship bureaucracy. Now, in response to this story about the UK saying the federal Liberals allegedly meeting with the UK to discuss a potential ban on Twitter, one of the Liberal ministers said, oh, well, we're putting forward another bill. And essentially, it sounds like a censorship bill, right? Here's the reality, folks. The Liberals have had my bill in front of Parliament for over 2 years. Over 2 years, where they could have just said, yep, we're going to take this section, slightly change the existing laws that were put in place under a Conservative government to prevent the non-consensual distribution of sexually explicit imagery, to update it to include AI generation. They could have done that a long time ago. But what do they keep doing? They keep putting in place these censorship bills. They want to create a censorship bureaucracy because they want to suppress information. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is try to find a Canadian news story on several platforms, including Meta. the Liberals' previous censorship legislation has actually resulted in news bans on certain platforms. This is why I ask you to subscribe to the newsletter, the link that's in the comments there, because I have more ability as a parliamentarian now to directly communicate with people. I have to be like, hey, allow me to directly communicate with you, because the Liberal government has tried to put in place all of these censorship bills.
Just a reminder, gang, smash the like, hit subscribe. We work really hard at this stuff. Let's get back to the video.
Oh, yeah.
So that's already happened. It was Bill C-18, Bill C-11. If you want a further proof point of the Liberals' current censorship agenda, all you have to do is rewind to last month, when the Liberals put in place an amendment to a bill called Bill C-9, which would criminalize religious belief. And if you'll remember, Conservatives have been fighting this. The House of Commons isn't sitting right now, but we have been fighting this. This is a live amendment to a bill that's in front of the House of Commons that would criminalize religious belief. This is Canada. This is happening in Canada, a G7 country. A news ban on certain social media platforms, an amendment in a live bill to try to criminalize religious belief and religious speech. And also, they've tried twice. It's only been through Conservatives fighting tooth and nails. Thank you for your help in spreading the word for us. They've tried twice to set up a massive $200 million plus censorship bureaucracy. So when there's reports of the Liberals talking to the far left government in the UK, as well as Australia, that they are talking about banning X, that is something that you've got to take seriously, because the federal Liberals in Canada have a track record of censorship, right? We have to fight back. So folks, I'm monitoring this situation closely. I don't trust the Liberals to not put forward a more aggressive censorship legislation. The minister in charge of this, the Liberal minister, just announced yesterday that they are in fact going to table another piece of legislation. The Liberals, all they have to do is take my bill that's currently tabled in the House of Commons and copy it and pass it quickly. Like it's there. It doesn't impinge on anybody's freedom of speech at all. It allows you to keep your charter rights. But the Liberals, again, like they always try to do this thing in all situations. So what they're trying to do with C-9, with the religious belief criminalization amendment, is they try to make you believe that in order to be safe, you have to give up your right to speech, and that's censorship. That's not safety. So folks, watch what's happening on this file closely. I certainly am, and I am absolutely going to fight back. The Liberals, it's totally false. You do not have to give up your right to free speech, your charter rights, in order to be safe. That is a Liberal lie. It's actually been Liberal laws like catch and release bail, all of these. They have so many crazy far left amendments to the criminal code that has made it easier for criminals to conduct crime, for people to be harassed online. That's the Liberals' fault. We don't need a censorship body or a censorship agenda in order to fix these far left Liberal policies that they've passed over the last 10 years. So please click subscribe to the link that's in the comments. As the censorship legislation rolls out and as this discussion happens, it's going to be even more critical that I am able to directly communicate with you. It's free. And folks, I write about this all the time. Also, if you click on the link that's in the comments to subscribe, you'll note that there's about 10 articles on this topic. If you search my bill, censorship bureaucracy, that outlines everything that the Liberals have done. It's information for you that I try to put out there to make sure that you're kept up to date on what's happening in Ottawa, even if the algorithms don't feed it to you, or if the mainstream media like the CBC aren't talking about it. So folks, yep, this was reported on yesterday. I'll just close. Like, there was a CBS news story, far left, UK ban on Elon Musk's X platform is on the table. And then, of course, there was this Telegraph story saying that the UK government it actually talked and reached out to the Carney Liberals as well as the Australian government in order to discuss options like this. So, folks, they are discussing censoring in Western countries entire platforms. Yeah, deep fakes are bad, or deep nudes are a bad thing. I was the first person in Canada as a conservative to talk about this. I've had legislation in front of the House of Commons for 2 years. And what have the Liberals done about it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So don't let them believe, or don't let them make you believe that the only way to get safety is by censoring your or removing your charter right and your ability to speak freely. So share this video, click on the link that's in the comments. Please click subscribe. Help me get this word out, because it's really important, folks. The only way that we, when you think about how democracies get eroded, and there's been a lot of things in Canada that have happened recently, but it's that right to speech. It's that right for me to be able to criticize the government for even considering or entertaining these types of talks with, censorship governments. So click on the link, click subscribe, and I'll be coming to you with more information as we find out what exactly is going to be in this Liberal bill. But again, if you're talking to anybody about this, I have a bill in front of the House of Commons already that does what it's been in front of the House of Commons for almost 2 years. The Liberals have done nothing. It does what needs to be done without impinging on your right to your charter right to free speech, banning platforms, creating news bans, all of these things that the Liberals have tried to do. Working hard for you. Have a great day.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. My name's Aaron, this is Canadian Loony. We're going to wrap it up. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below. Check out this playlist, check out this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Aaron at Canadian Loony. Ciao for now. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. We're out.